Hey dolls, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm very excited because today is the first day of my 5-day long reviews on drugstore foundations that are very much raved about for oily skin. And the first foundation that I'm going to review is usually on the top 3 if not on the top 1 for oily skin. So I'm very excited to try this on. So this foundation is the LA Girl Pro Matte HD High Definition Long Wear Matte Foundation. So I'm going to read the claims based on their website. This foundation provides soft and suede-like finish. Pro Matte Foundation will have you covered and shine-free all day. And the creamy liquid formula provides smooth and buildable coverage for both day and nighttime wear. Minimize the appearance of pores and fine lines for an even, soft, focused effect. Paraben-free formula with added vitamin E, B5, and sunflower oil. So I got this at Walmart, online, walmart.ca, and this costs $12.95 in Canadian, which I think is very affordable at 30 and up. Now when it comes to packaging, you guys know that I love foundation that comes in a bottle with a pump. So this is the type of packaging that I really like. And I also like that it came in a frosted glass. So it kind of looks like a high-end foundation. When it comes to scent, it has a little scent. It has a little flowery scent to it, but it's not too strong. I can't actually find the ingredients online for this foundation. So I went to skinsafeproducts.com and they rated this foundation with 82% top allergen free. When it comes to shade, I got the shade GLM717 Soft Beige, and I think that this shade is really spot on. I didn't have to wear a heavy bronzer or heavy highlighter just so I can compensate with this shade. I feel like this is my perfect shade. And I also like that this shade was also my shade with their LA Girl HD foundation. So I love that they have consistency when it comes to shade on all their formulas. So let's try this foundation on. I hope you don't mind what my hair looks like. It's my birthday today, so I kind of want to look a little extra, hence the hair. But look better later, I promise. So this foundation has a thicker viscosity and it's keeping its form on the back of my hand. So I'm thinking that this would actually really give me a high coverage because that's usually how high coverage foundation are. I'm gonna put my Huda Beauty primer on the right side, and then I'm not gonna use any primer on my left side, just so you could see. And then I'm gonna use the sponge on my left and a brush on my right. Oh wow, can you see that coverage? Hold on, let me just, that is just one pump and it's like paint. Like it literally covered everything. If I'm not mistaken, I made the review of the LA Girl HD foundation and I remember liking that foundation, so I'm not surprised that this is actually performing well too. Wow, this is just one pump of the foundation. Can you see that coverage? So this is just one pump and I could say that I'm actually happy with this coverage. I'm gonna go closer. I would say that this is a very high coverage foundation. They were not kidding about the coverage of this foundation. It's so nice. Okay, I'm going to use a brush on my right side. I'm actually very happy how the sponge applied this foundation. I really like how the coverage looks like. But I'm going to try the brush on the other side if it's any different. Oh, definitely sponge. I think that for this foundation, sponge is the better option. And if you're looking for a good sponge, head up to my store, www.aldel.cosmetics.com. This airbrush sponge, I have tried so many sponges from the supplier and I was like, this is the one. And until now, I've been using it on myself and on my clients. I put the same amount of foundation on my right side. I'm really leaning towards how this looks more than this. So I really think the sponge is better than the brush. So I'm going to put half a pump on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna fix my right side. What I like about this sponge is that it doesn't soak up a lot of products. So you are actually saving yourself money, because with just one pump you can see how it lays the product down onto my face. So this is my face with the full foundation. And looking at it, I could see that there's a little blurring effect on the side where I put the Huda Beauty Jelly Primer. I think that's the only main difference between the one without the primer with the primer. I think when it comes to coverage, it's still the same. I can actually compare this with the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation when it comes to how it looks on the skin. Okay, so first impression, I think this foundation is really good when it comes to coverage. My freckles, you can't almost see them. And then the redness on my left side, almost totally gone. Except for this, because this one is really red and dark. That's why you can still see like a gray cast to it, a dark gray cast to it. But on this side, it's actually really good. It's supposed to have a suede finish. And this is how my skin usually looks like when I use the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. So this could be a dupe for that actually. And when it comes to shade, it is really spot on. So far so good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish my makeup, and then we'll do the photo test. And then we are going to test its wearability on the 4th hour and on the 8th hour. So I'll be back. So when it comes to photography, it really looks good on both flash and non-flash photography, and it's very HD indeed. So this is my 4th hour. I'm a little oily on my forehead, but I didn't use any powder on my forehead, I remember. I only use it on like the center of my cheeks, but my T-zone is really oily too. I didn't put a primer on this side, but I put a primer on this side, but I put a hydrating primer. So this side looks more dewy, which I should have not done. So maybe next time I am going to update you when I use a good primer that is suitable for matte foundation. But when it comes to coverage, I cannot complain because it really still have a very good coverage. And I only did one pump on each side, which is just a medium coverage. I wonder if I did a full coverage, I think that this would look better. For $12, I can't actually believe that I'm still having this good of a coverage after 4 hours. But so far so good. I'm still loving it on the 4th hour, and I'll be updating you on the 8th hour. So I'll be back. There's nothing much of a difference on the 8th hour compared to the 4th hour, except for the foundation setting on the side of my nose. My oiliness didn't get worse, and the coverage is still the same. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons for this foundation, and we'll be starting with the pros. First pro is that it's very affordable. At 13 Canadian dollars, there's more to gain than to lose. To be honest, at drugstores now when it comes to makeup, especially for foundation, because the first time I've tried a drugstore foundation, first of all, I got the wrong shade because there's no one there to match you with your color, and usually the bottle doesn't really reflect the true color of the foundation. And at that time, drugstore foundations doesn't have a lot of color range. So when I got my first drugstore foundation, first, it wasn't my right shade, and second, it kind of looks cakey on me. So that was my first experience with drugstore makeup. So I tried avoiding drugstore foundations for the longest time, but I have to tell you guys that drugstore foundations has come a long way. And this foundation is a true testament to that. This foundation is comparable to some of the high-end foundations I've tried, if not at par with them. So I'm thinking maybe next time I can do a side-by-side comparison with this and the Estee Lauder, or with this and the Armani, not the luminous one but the matte one. Watch out for that video next time. And my second pro is that it blends very easily and it's lightweight. My third pro is that it has good coverage. With one pump each on the side of my face. It hid my hyperpigmentation. It hid the redness on the side of my chin. So it really has a good coverage. My fourth pro is that I think that it can be suitable for all skin types. I have combination skin and I didn't see it clinging on the dry spots of my skin. When it comes to oiliness though, after the 4th hour, you can see the oil seeping through. So just make sure you have a blotting paper, or better yet, find a more suitable primer for this foundation. My mistake when reviewing this foundation is that I used the Huda Beauty Jelly Primer, which is a hydrating primer. So next time I'm going to use my Makeup Forever primer. The one that is, I think it's the Balancing, the one in a gray tube. I think that that will be more fitting for this foundation. So my last pro is packaging. I love that it comes with a pump. So it's very convenient. I love that it has a slimmer bottle, so it's easier to carry inside your pouch. And I love the frosted glass because it looks classier. So the only con I have this foundation is that with my oily skin, actually in the 4th hour, you can really see the oil on my forehead and on my nose. It can easily be blotted by a blotting paper. The coverage is still there. But if you're oily, you can still see the oil seeping through on the foundation. And I think that partially this is also because I use a dewy primer instead of a more suitable primer. But I don't mind this con so much because I know my skin type. I know that if I can find a more suitable primer, a more suitable setting spray, then I can remedy that oiliness on my skin. So I'm giving this foundation 4 out of 5 stars. I really like this foundation and I get the hype. Even my husband was commenting that he really liked my makeup today. And even when I looked at the mirror every time I checked my face, it really amazed me because it really looks like an HD foundation. And it's actually called the High Definition Long Wear Matte Foundation. It really bounces off the light, so it's giving you a look of a good skin. So when it comes to finish, I really like this foundation. And if you're planning to use a foundation for photos, I highly recommend this foundation. So that's it for my part 1 of my 5-part series on drugstore foundations that are raved about for oily skin. I hope you guys find this review helpful, and if it did, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you'll always be updated once a new video is up. I also want to give a shout out to one viewer that made my birthday very special. She left me a very sweet comment on my videos. Thank you so much, L Sumyava A. I hope that I read your username right. The timing of that comment couldn't be more perfect, especially because it's my birthday today. Thank you so much. I really put a lot of effort in my videos, and sometimes I just question my content. I don't know, I feel like every YouTuber gets through this phase, and receiving a comment like that really motivates me to do more content, do more foundation reviews, and I really appreciate when you comment. So if you have any suggestions, requests, just comment down below. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Keep safe everyone!